On This Week in Jacksonville, the Jaguars offer an apology. Not that leaders in the city seem to want to talk about it much.
Is that apology enough for you?
Look, Jim, I've said what I have to say on the issue.
The continuing discussion on the NFL, the player protest, and the impact of fans on both sides of the arguments. First, the deadly disease in society of domestic violence. The ways one local county is stepping up the efforts to end it and support victims at the same time. All on This Week in Jacksonville. And welcome to This Week in Jacksonville. In addition to those topics, local businesses celebrating the success of serving each other and helping entrepreneurs. The 25th anniversary of the Small Business Resource Network in Northeast Florida. That's coming up. Our discussion in about 10 minutes from now. First, from St. Johns County. In St. Augustine, the official launch of InVEST. That's the partnership among the Sheriff's Office, State Attorney's Office, and advocates for victims of domestic violence. These are some of the images from a luncheon honoring team members and informing community members about their work. So InVEST stands for Intimate Violence Enhanced Services Team. And Betty Griffin Center works with investigators to help reduce violence in the community on a case-by-case basis. So this program asks each person in the audience to pledge and promise to be part of the solution to end all forms of violence. We're going to talk about that in this segment right now. So this same day, this is how hundreds of people started their day downtown in Jacksonville. They listened to some gripping stories at the Barbara Ann Campbell Memorial Breakfast at the Prime Osborne. This was a fundraiser for Hubbard House, Jacksonville's domestic violence shelter for women and children. They had a table reserved to remember some of the lives lost to this crime. A sobering look at how domestic violence continues to be what some would call a silent epidemic. So joining us right now in this segment, Corporal Donnie Russo from the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office and Joyce Marr, the Chief Executive with Betty Griffin Center. I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
I appreciate the invitation a week or so ago when you had that kind of luncheon for InVEST to try and help people understand what you're doing. Corporal Russo, if you just start by explaining what InVEST is, and this was the official launch, but it's been going on since April, I believe.
Correct. April 10th was the official day. InVEST, again, Intimate Violence Enhanced Services Team. Sheriff Shore is a huge advocate for domestic violence and domestic violence victims, so he wanted a program put in place at the Sheriff's Office there that would help aid victims of domestic violence. So what we did was InVEST actually began here in Jacksonville at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. They actually have an InVEST program here. So we kind of modeled that program and brought it to St. Johns County, and it consists of investigators from surrounding agencies, advocates from the Sheriff's Office, advocates from the Betty Griffin Center, also employees with the State Attorney's Office, and also with the DCF, which is the Division of Children and Families.
So this is a team effort, is what you were explaining to me. Yep. Part of the team is what Betty Griffin Center does. This seems like a no-brainer, that law enforcement would say, hey, you're dealing with victims, you're trying to help them come alongside. What did you think of that offer, whenever that came in this past year, to get to be part of this?
I think it's a wonderful offer, and the collaboration between the two agencies is extremely important to really enhance the safety of survivors of domestic violence and to make sure that they're linked to services quicker than they normally might be. So this collaboration between the State Attorney's Office, Department of Children and Families, and all the different entities in our community that can come together to really surround the survivor, to wrap services around that individual and the family to really help them feel safer and supported.
Yeah, so it seems like there are going to be a lot of people sitting at home watching this saying, okay, so how does this work? So let's unpack that just a little bit. And who does this deal with? Is it just for victims? No, this is for offenders as well, right?
Absolutely. What we do is twice a week, a team, the InVEST team, we sit and we go over domestic violence related cases for that week.
So everything that's come in that week?
Everything that's come in that week, okay, we review as a team. And what we do is...
That's maybe 5 cases, 10 cases, 100 cases?
It varies. Usually once, on a weekly basis, we're looking at maybe 20 to 25 cases a week that we, on average.
A lot of us are going to need to absorb that and let that settle in. That's St. Johns County and 20 or 25 domestic violence cases in a week. Okay, yeah. Please continue.
So what we do is the team, we try to identify high-risk cases. When we do, we put those cases into a pile, and afterwards the advocates The victim advocates from the Sheriff's Office and with the Betty Griffin Center, what they do is they reach out to those victims and they offer them enhanced services. And those enhanced services could be anything from legal assistance, guidance, support, anything that they may need, but mainly just an ear that they know that someone is listening.
Yeah, it probably makes a difference. So just very briefly, tell me, what does it do for the suspects in these cases?
What it does, and this is where it kind of puts a twist on things that we found that these defendants aren't used to, and that is basically follow-up and holding them accountable.
That's law enforcement saying, we are watching you. Right?
We are watching you. We reach out to them. We have a detective that actually contacts them in person and actually makes a face-to-face contact with them, and we let them know basically that they're on the radar.
Right. Not a threat, but hey, here's the process, and we're going to follow it to make sure that this person who was assaulted or what have you is going to be safe. So, Joyce, before we run out of time, I want to make sure that I bring you back in. You tell me about this pledge that you asked people to make, and I want to show some of the short version, but you wanted people to commit, who were at this luncheon here just a week ago. I pledge to never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women, children, and men. From this day forward, I promise to be part of the solution to end all forms of violence. What does that do? Why is that the ask that you had for people who are getting involved in this?
Because it really takes a community to be a part of the solution. I mean, law enforcement can't do it alone. Betty Griffin House cannot do it alone. State Attorney's Office cannot do it alone. We need the community to come together to say we're going to hold batters accountable, but also that we're going to educate ourselves. You know, in this day and time, many of us don't know our neighbors. We really need to get to know our neighbors so that if somebody needs, so if a survivor needs to feel supported, they're comfortable reaching out to someone to say, hey, can you help me? You need to learn the dynamics of domestic violence, because if people don't understand the dynamic and how to support survivors, this is going to continue to kill people.
Yeah, and that's what we don't want to have happen.
Not.
I appreciate it. As we've talked and I've learned more about the program, you've invited me to see what that process looks like. I'm going to take you up on that, and I'm looking forward to being able to talk about the success of this program. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Having a big business has its own problems. Having a small business, it's what drives local communities and the American dream, right? Celebrating support for those Northeast Florida entrepreneurs next on This Week in Jacksonville.
I'm Robert Palmer, president of RP Funding. If you're thinking about buying a home, call us first. From finding the right local real estate agent to getting the best deal on your mortgage, RP Funding is here to help. There's no obligation and no cost to get started. Call us first or go to rpfunding.com.
How do you show up? Do you just bring it? Or do you bring it all?
Focus.
Third row like a pro.
Current GMC lessees can get this low-mileage lease on this 2017 GMC Acadia SLE1 for around $269 per month with $479 due at signing. We are professional grade. GMC.
When you've been in an accident, there's going to be a lot to deal with, and we will help you through that whole process. But in the end, our goal is to give you the financial breathing room to be able to make decisions that's best for you without feeling rushed, that you don't have to make those decisions under stress and under pressure. Let us do all the work to get you the money that you deserve. That's what we do for our clients. That's what we can do for you.
Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's just an easier lifestyle. Fishing, horseback riding, biking trails. Everybody just plays like kids. It's worlds away.
Well, to play golf here is truly gorgeous. You can roll out of bed onto the golf course. It's really all about having a great time while you're here.
How is affordable dentures and implants so much less expensive?
It's all they do, so they're amazing.
But who has time for all that?
Everybody. They made these while we waited. Took one day.
They'll treat me okay?
Like family.
I can't believe I'm doing this. We should have done it years ago.
For affordable dentures, implants, and extractions, call 1-800-DENTURE today. One call and one day can change your tomorrow.
The 2017 Nissan Rogue. with available automatic emergency braking that could help stop for you. And motion-activated liftgate. You still got some tricks left in you. Take on today the Nissan Rogue family. Lease today, starting at just $159 per month, or save up to $10,760 on select models.
I'm Robert Palmer, president of RP Funding and owner of the Jacksonville Armada. I've paid over $20 million in closing costs for homeowners just like you, so let me pay yours. To refinance, go to rpfunding.com or call today. Go Armada.
The tragic plane crash. Now, 40 years later, the last surviving member of Leonard Skinner shares details never heard before to the only local anchor on the scene.
You can't even realize exactly what a crash of this magnitude looks like.
The terrifying moments after the plane went down.
I remember waking up and hearing some guys scream. It was like being in Vietnam.
And revealing who he says saved his life. Hometown Boys, a Southern rock tragedy. Monday at 5 on News 4 Jax. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
Yeah, an important part of the application process for becoming a U.S. citizen is passing a civics test, which covers important U.S. history and government topics. There are 100 civics questions on the naturalization test. How would you do? Here's just one of those. So here's one of the questions. Who was president during the Great Depression in 1933? And who was president during World War II, which America entered in 1941? Bonus question, by the way. What was the name for the program to handle the economic crisis in the agency created in 1935, which most workers still pay into? That answer is coming up in a few minutes. So this segment, we're filling up the table again, as you can see. Nancy Boyle, Lori Lee, Scott Moore are with us, and we're here to talk about the Small Business Resource Network. And Lori, we got connected on this topic because kind of leading the charge for what's happening with this celebration coming. Hence, why don't you explain to me, 25 years of this
25
network?
years. We kicked off the program in July of 1992. The Small Business Resource Network is sort of a one-stop shop for business owners. Our members are accountants, business attorneys, commercial lenders, commercial insurance agents, business consultants, a wide variety of government or nonprofit organizations who provide services to the small business community. So it doesn't matter what you need. If you're thinking of starting a business, if you've been in business for 50 years and you want to get out with some money, we can plug you into the right resource to help you achieve your goals.
All right, so before we end our segment, we're going to ask how we do that. But I do want to hear, Lori, about this event coming up October 26th and kind of a middle of the day, really kind of a working sort of thing. Explain this. I understand it's Entrepreneur's Entourage.
Yes,
what is that?
The Entrepreneur's Entourage is a business success forum. So we wanted to celebrate SBRN's 25th birthday. And as business advisors, we wanted to have the theme surrounding the necessity for good advisors to small businesses. So we put together this lineup on Thursday of next week. It's actually October 26th, 10:30 to 2:30. And we have 9 successful small business speakers, and all talking about the importance of building a really good, valuable advisory team.
Yeah, so I understand I should ask this small business owner and very successful about that. What's that mean to you, this Entrepreneur's Entourage theme? For
Well, Kent, that's a good question, because when Lori asked me originally to speak on that, I was like, well, what does that mean?
Right.
But as I processed that and thought about it for a while, the truth of what an entourage is, that it's an individual or groups who follow around an individual or an entity, and they're part of their story and helping them live out that story. I looked over our history, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized how significant that entourage was. And for us, there's 3 different groups that kind of became very evident, and Thursday we're going to talk about that. What are those 3 groups and how they helped us to get to where we're at and how they continue to.
Yeah, it's an idea that I've heard from a lot of successful entrepreneurs. Hey, I needed some of that advice, kind of the right people in my ear at the right time, right?
Yeah, it is, and I've been amazed at how God has brought those people along at those seasons when we've needed it. Because the way I work is, I don't always know how to get to where we want to go. I know to take the next step. And then before I get to that next step, I either end up finding a counselor or some information or someone who's been there and done it. And then they kind of help me figure out that next step. And then we continue to move forward. Well,
Nancy, maybe help me with this. I want to show some video here, but we want to show you some video from one of the small businesses that were hurt by Hurricane Irma. Cupcakes 50, they showed us around right after Irma. They didn't have power. They lost existing product. They had to throw out ruined or spoiled supplies. So does the Small Business Resource Network have anything that helps somebody in a situation like that? It's unusual, but boy, it happened to a lot of folks here recently.
Yeah. In this case, the Florida Small Business Development Center Network is the processing arm of the Florida Bridge Loan Program. So it's a short-term, zero-interest loan for 180 days. $1,000 up to $50,000 for just that situation. Somebody that was impacted by Irma needs some funds to get their business back on track. Well, we can work with them. There's no charge for these services. So we can work with them. We can help them get the loan. We can help them apply for an SBA loan or a FEMA or whatever, what are ongoing funding they might need. And that's all through the Florida Small Business Development Center Network.
That would be really important for somebody going through that sort of situation.
Right.
And Laura, you're trained as an attorney, so let me ask you this question. This example I want to give you here is a small business owner, Serena Freeman, who owns the Pearl Market in Arlington. Freeman faced the threat of an ADA compliance lawsuit this summer. So she told our I-team, she was concerned that the suit that was coming after her was rife with some ethics violations. How would a business person like her gain access from what you all do?
And that's a really good question. I've actually had clients myself who have received demand letters for ADA violations, alleged violations. And it's funny because the Small Business Resource Network, we are, one of the pieces of our network are business attorneys. And so I actually received some calls from some other attorneys in the network saying, how did you handle this? And so we all collectively kind of came up with the best practices of responding to an ADA compliance letter. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to 100% comply with ADA. It's very demanding and it's a complex process. Yeah. So I think definitely getting the advice of an attorney and taking a look at your lease if you're a renter and getting some legal advice going forward. They are definitely not to be ignored. You must address it.
Well, and again, back to some of those examples, some startup companies, new business owners are going to have a difficult time with some of the cost and some of the know-how. So before we go here, I do have this Florida Resource Directory that you just handed to me about this. How do people get involved? How do they become part of the network, if you will?
Two issues. The client, the business owner, if they need help, they can go to our website, sbrn.org. or they can call us, 620-2489, and we can connect them up, whether they need agency assistance or whether they need professional assistance, we can get them plugged in. Yep. If it's somebody who's an accountant, attorney, et cetera, one of our membership groups, and they're interested in becoming a member of the Small Business Resource Network, they must meet certain minimum experience criteria in order to qualify, and we can certainly share that information with them.
I appreciate it. Great idea. And so many entrepreneurs or folks who are thinking, how do I take it to the next level, are going to be really engaged after this. So thank you for your time. Congratulations on 25 years, too.
Thank you very much for having us.
All right. So our final segment is coming up with politics to discuss. Mayor Lenny Curry's reaction to that apology from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Stay with us on This Week in Jacksonville.
I got a curb violation, B13 in pursuit.
Uh-oh, honey, hurry.
Oh, pardon me, ma'am. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me, sir. Sir?
It's a lift gate!
Pardon me, excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Pardon me. Excuse me.
Nice work.
The 2017 Toyota RAV4. Lease a new 2017 RAV4 XLE for just $209 a month for 36 months. Toyota, let's go places.
What if we told you the best internet for your home was also a great value? Introducing Xfinity XFi. Discover how much more you can get out of internet with the speed, coverage, and control you need throughout your home. Call 1-800-949-1010 and get started with Xfinity Internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months. Xfinity delivers the best in-home Wi-Fi experience to keep everyone rocking online. With speed you can count on for an incredible price. Or upgrade for access to Xfinity Wi-Fi and stay connected with millions of hotspots nationwide. Call 1-800-949-1010 and get started with Xfinity Internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 30-day risk-free money-back guarantee. Xfinity XFi will change the way you Wi-Fi. You can view all the connected devices in your home and manage Wi-Fi to any device at any time. See for yourself how much value you can get out of internet built to keep up with your family. Call 1-800-949-1010 today.
My father was Attorney General, and he believed that the civil justice system was the cornerstone of American democracy. It distinguishes American democracy from any other system in the world, and I think it's one of the things that gives us the claim to be an exemplary nation, because no matter who you are, if you suffer an injury, you are entitled to go to a jury of your peers and obtain redress, and there's nothing like that on the planet.
Technology that helps protect you in an accident is good, but an SUV that can help prevent one altogether, that's better. Like the Hyundai Tucson with available lane change assist. Won't see that on the Honda CR-V.
Now get 0% APR on the Tucson, or up to $2,500 total savings. Or the Santa Fe with standard third-row seating for 0% APR.
Both include America's best warranty. Better is the reason to buy Hyundai.
Get the 2018 Santa Fe Sport with 0% APR plus $1,000 bonus cash. And now 2-year complimentary maintenance on all Santa Fe and Santa Fe Sport models.
Here's the answer to our citizens quiz. Who was president during the Great Depression in 1933 and who was president during World War II? Well, Franklin Roosevelt, or FDR, for both. The answer to your bonus questions: FDR created the New Deal, which had programs to create jobs, provide benefits, and financial security for workers. And in 1935, he led the creation of the Social Security Administration. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell believes all players should stand for the national anthem, but said this week that the league is not imposing a rule that they must. He also said he believes players who kneel during the national anthem are not trying to disrespect the flag. Now, this comes as NFL owners were in New York this week discussing player protests during the national anthem. Goodell announced that the league does not expect to change its policy, which says only that players should stand during the anthem, not that they have to. Beginning with former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick last year, dozens of players have taken the knee during the anthem to protest racial injustice. Here at home, many Jaguars fans have been at odds with the team after this September 24th game at Wembley Stadium in London. That's when and where about a dozen players took a knee on the sideline during the national anthem. Behind them, their teammates stood and locked arms with each other, with the owner, Shad Khan, and their head coach, Doug Marrone.
I would tell you, though, just on one other issue that we spent a great deal of time talking about this morning was how much we believe everyone should stand for the national anthem. That's an important part of our policy. It's also an important part of our game that we all take great pride in. And it's also important for us to honor our flag and to our country, and we think our fans expect us to do that. And so that is something that we continue to focus on this morning, but really talking a lot about the opportunity that exists with our players to try to go and really make a difference in our communities in a positive way. They are not doing this in any way to be disrespectful to the flag, but they also understand how it's being interpreted, and that's why we're trying to deal with those underlying issues.
So Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Curry is now responding to the letter of apology sent to the city by the Jaguars president. The team's front office expressing regret over players kneeling during the national anthem last month for that game in London. In the letter, Jaguars president Mark Lamping says, quote, "We were remiss in not fully comprehending the effects of the national anthem demonstration occurring on foreign soil." It went on to say, "We owe you an apology and hope you will accept it." Now, Channel 4's Jim Piggott this week caught up with the mayor on this topic.
Is that apology enough for you?
Look, Jim, I've said what I have to say on the issue. The letter shows great respect for our military and for first responders, and I'm grateful for that.
And so what the mayor said on the issue initially was that, in his words, it's stupid not to stand for the national anthem. Now, the head of military affairs for the city, Bill Spann, has not commented on whether he has accepted that apology from the NFL team. And Dan Edwards, that is, from the Jaguars, told me this week that the team is not scheduling interviews on the topic. An update now from a story that we covered and discussed here on this show 3 weeks ago. This week, we spoke with Councilwoman Katrina Brown about the confrontation that she and City Councilman Reggie Gaffney had with police. All of that was caught on a police body camera. So we've had questions for her since we first broke this story last month. We showed you this video. Councilman Reggie Gaffney was pulled over on suspicion of driving with a stolen license plate while heading home from a city council meeting. And while Gaffney was being questioned during the stop, Brown pulled up. That's her in the car right there. The video shows her arguing with police, claiming that the stop was the result of racial profiling. Now, since then, Councilman Gaffney apologized to police and to the community for his behavior. During that same council meeting, when he apologized, Brown said she had nothing to apologize for. Again, our guy Jim Piggott, he's out there, and he caught up with her He asked Councilwoman Brown about the video and if anything has changed since it was released.
Do you feel you responded appropriately at that time?
I believe that what I stated to you in council is my statement.
Okay. I'm just trying to be fair.
I stick by my statement.
Jacksonville Sheriff's Office later said that Gaffney had done nothing wrong, found no wrongdoing by the officers either. The head of the FOP, in the meantime, has filed an ethics complaint against Councilwoman Brown because of the statements she made that night. And here's an update on one of the Confederate monument debates here in Northeast Florida. This coming week, the city of St. Augustine, their city manager is going to offer a recommendation about the future of the city's memorial to local Confederate soldiers. That memorial is located at the plaza in the heart of downtown St. Augustine. City Manager John Regan says relocating this memorial would be costly and there's also risk of damaging it. So instead, he wants to add context to the statues, he says, a task that would be guided by an advisory committee. A presentation on that subject is scheduled for Monday at St. Augustine City Hall. Again, that's tomorrow. The meeting starts at 5 p.m. The public is invited there at St. Augustine City Hall. All right, so the state's largest builders association has a new office building. Northeast Florida Builders Association helps construction industries in Baker, Clay, Duval, Nassau, and St. Johns counties. And this is from the groundbreaking, which was held this week, and it's for their new office on South Point Parkway. The association also works with several charities like Habajacks and Builders Care. And the second lady unveiled her mission while serving in D.C. Karen Pence says that she wants to highlight art therapy. How did she roll that out? She rolled out the details while visiting Florida State University this week. The university offers a Master's of Science in Art Therapy. Mrs. Pence also has a Master's in Art Education, and she was a teacher for 25 years, and again decided that Tallahassee and one of our state schools here in Florida is where she was going to talk about that and unveil that. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. This Week in Jacksonville airs each Sunday morning at this time, both on air and online at news4jax.com. Coming up next week, Giselle Carson is going to join us. She's newly named as the chairman of the board for the JAA, Jacksonville Aviation Authority. We're going to talk issues with her. Our political analyst, Rick Mullaney, joins us as well. I'm Kent Justice. Thanks for watching.
Now, more than ever before, more people get their news from News 4 Jax, Jacksonville's #1 source for local news.